WAAY 31 Hometown News starts now. This is breaking news.
Breaking news tonight, a fire raced through a Dollar General store in Huntsville. Crews are still there trying to put out any remaining hotspots. And of course, they have to figure out how it started.
And you're looking at video sent to WAAY 31 that was taken by a drone. All the dark black smoke that you see there coming from the building kind of gives you some idea of the heat that's coming from that fire.
Yeah, it'll start at around 6 o'clock tonight at that store on Old Madison Pike. It's just to the east of Bridge Street Town Center, and as you can see, it's right across the highway from the Space and Rocket Center. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. I'm Bill Young.
And I'm Demetria McClinton. WAAY 31's Emily Frederick watched this fire develop, and she's live tonight with what actually happened. Emily.
Well, Bill and Demetria, when I first got here, white and gray and even black smoke was just billowing out of this Dollar General that you can see behind me right here. And there's still Huntsville fire crews on scene. I'm actually going to step out of the frame just so I can zoom in and show you that they are still working. I just spoke with Captain McKenzie right before the show started. And as you can see, Old Madison Pike is now open to through traffic. You can see those cars driving through. But he did mention to me that they're going to have a second crew actually coming on scene to demolish this building as it is a loss.
There's a lot of fire engines and a lot of flashing lights.
Clouds of smoke poured out of the Dollar General on Old Madison Pike Sunday. Huntsville Fire told WAAY 31 3 employees and 3 customers were inside and were able to get out safely.
We have been told by one of the employees that they believe it started in a charcoal aisle.
The fire started just before 6 Sunday night, and smoke could be seen from neighboring homes and even from 565.
I was driving by on 565 and I just saw smoke coming on the road, and I just pulled over and called 911.
Firefighters were able to extinguish the initial flames, but the fire spread rapidly.
Fortunately, the fire had already reached into the attic space, the space above, and it already came through the roof. So at that point, we couldn't safely keep anybody else in the building. We had to pull them out and go to a defensive mode.
The smoke quickly drew the attention of those who live nearby.
Somebody posted there's big smoke foo everywhere, and so we were like, okay, let's check this out. And we came down here, and then they started blocking off the road.
Both lanes of traffic on Old Madison Pike were closed down for several hours. And neighbors WAAY 31 spoke with said they're sad to see the store was destroyed.
We're really bummed. I mean, we come here all the time. It's kind of our regular place to jump. It's going to be a real loss for our neighborhood and for the community around here for sure.
Earlier today, while I was out here, I had the chance to speak with the manager of this Dollar General's wife, and she told me that just yesterday they got a shipment in of that charcoal, the one where they think actually the fire started. Huntsville Fire, like I mentioned, is still on scene investigating, and will of course keep you updated as those come available. Reporting live in Huntsville, I'm Emily Frederick, WAAY 31 Hometown News.
All right, Emily, thanks. And today, the National Weather Service confirmed an EF0 tornado did touch down near the Alabama-Mississippi state line in Franklin County.
Also, a tornado reportedly hit Coleman County. And this is a time lapse of the storm rolling into Logan, a city in Coleman County. This video was sent to us by a WAAY 31 viewer. The National Weather Service in Huntsville dispatched 2 teams to survey those damaged areas. And Chief Meteorologist Chris Smith was tracking those storms all throughout Saturday. And Chris, what is the latest that we know about those tornadoes that touched down?
Well, when you look at the stats of all the tornadoes throughout Saturday, so far there are 2. Keep in mind, the National Weather Service, they're also going to be heading out to Skyline tomorrow in Jackson County to do another storm survey of the area. I've already seen pictures from that area. Trees are actually just bent in half, so don't be surprised if we're adding another tornado to the mix here from Saturday. Coleman County was an EF1 on the ground for about 15 minutes. The wind 100 miles per hour. The width was at 200 yards. Little over 4 miles of travel. The one in Franklin County, however, keep in mind, the category for EF is based on damage, not by wind speed. They do wind speed, but it's based on kind of the damage it took to reach that wind speed. But the width of that tornado is 720 yards. So, again, a lot bigger than the Coleman County one, but the length was a little over 5 miles. But when you look at it graphically, near Jones Chapel, that was the one in Coleman County, 5 miles north of Red Bay for the other. But right now, it's very, very quiet outside, really drizzle more than anything else. Been tracking these showers for a while. They're going to die down throughout the rest of tonight. But when I come back a little bit, it was really cold today. But when is the next time we're going to see the 80s? I'll let you know in a little bit.
Chris, thanks. And tonight, those storms are out of our area, but there's still plenty of people left to clean up a mess. Crews from the National Weather Service, as Chris mentioned, are going to be in Jackson County on Monday after they spent the day in Franklin and Coleman counties. No reports of anybody being seriously hurt or even worse, dying. But WAAY 31 did talk to the owner of a ranch in Giles County, Tennessee, who told us 3 of his horses died after being hit by lightning.
A new memorial was unveiled to honor 14 people who lost their lives when a tornado hit. It happened almost 6 years ago in Lawrence County. And today, community members gathered to remember the lives lost. WAAY 31's Adam Lucas spent the afternoon in Mount Hope, where he spoke to family members of some of the victims from that storm and learned what today means to them.
Thursday will mark the 6-year anniversary of one of the deadliest storms in Alabama history. Over 200 lives were lost, 14 of those right here in Lawrence County. And while both physical and emotional scars still remain here in the small community of Mount Hope, Sunday was a day of healing.
I remember it all.
Tears were shared as members of the Mount Hope community remembered those who didn't make it through the deadly 2011 storm.
I found her under about 20-foot pile of debris. And it was hard.
But the unveiling of the memorial Sunday helped provide closure for people like Emily Hale, who lost her 80-year-old grandmother, Zora Lee Hale, almost 6 years ago to the day.
It does, and this is just a little extra. It makes my heart smile.
You need to know that those lives that were lost meant something. There was somebody to someone, and that's part of what this is. Everybody can come by and know that each name on there is a family that represents somebody that's no longer with that family member.
Community members said the destruction left behind by the EF5 tornado brought Mount Hope closer together. 6 years later, that hasn't changed. The memorial was funded mainly by donations.
We all came together to do this, and everybody that passes by is going to see this, and it's going to stand in our community for as long as we have that community.
Love it. It's really nice.
On Thursday at Lawrence County High School, there will be a balloon release for one of the younger victims of the storm, Aurelia Guzman. She would have been a senior this year. Reporting in Mount Hope, Adam Lucas, WAAY 31, Hometown News.
Tonight, investigators in Gunnersville are still trying to determine what started a huge fire on the lake, which destroyed more than a dozen boats. You're looking at what's left following that fire. Emergency management officials told WAAY 31 it took a good 5 hours to put out the fire, which destroyed a total of 29 boat slips. There is some video sent to us on Facebook from one of our viewers. The fire near the point at Valmonte did not damage a nearby restaurant. The first call came in just about midnight Saturday morning.
We were very lucky that it was in an enclosed harbor with a very small opening to the main waterway.
You got boats, fiberglass boats full of gasoline that just adds fuel to the fire.
Another slip owner told WAAY 31 this was the second dock fire at that marina in the past decade.
New details tonight about the rescue of 15-year-old Elizabeth Thomas. Tonight, WAAY 31 learned Thomas is in a mental health facility. Her sister, Kat Bozeman, told us she spends a lot of time with a therapist while visiting with family and friends is pretty limited. Bozeman said the family has a hard time hearing the details of where Elizabeth and Tad Cummins stayed over that time and what evidence has been recovered.
It's traumatic for us. It's traumatic to her. It's just hard to hear. And knowing, you know, they had no access to showers and bathrooms and they were eating very little, that's really traumatic. She told us she didn't have access to telephone, internet, any electronic devices.
Kat Bozeman says the family is focusing on the positive and they all need time to heal. Bozeman says they don't know when Elizabeth will be released to go home and that they are taking it day by day. Well, as for Elizabeth's former teacher, Tad Cummins, he's expected to be in court tomorrow in Northern California, and that's where the two were found on Thursday. Cummins is in federal custody on a charge of taking a minor across state lines to have sex. Once extradited to Tennessee, he's going to face charges of kidnapping and sexual contact with a minor. And new tonight, it is the eve of President Trump's first 100 days in office, and it's once again pushing his agenda. From the budget deadline and tax reform to a renewed push for health care to possibly funding a border wall. The latest poll from ABC News found the president has a 42% approval rating. However, a separate poll found 96% of those who voted for Trump would do so again today. And President Trump responded to the approval rating poll today by saying, quote, "New polls out today are very good considering that much of the media is fake and almost always negative. Would still beat Hillary in a popular vote," end quote.
A crew could be launching on the first mission to the Space Launch System, or SLS rocket. SpaceAlabama.com's Josh Barrett has an update on NASA's recent efforts to accelerate manned space exploration.
The first mission for the SLS is called Exploration Mission 1, or EM1, and the mission's original plans called for an uncrewed test flight, but at the beginning of the year, NASA decided to see if they could fly a crew on the mission. EM1 involves the SLS launching an Orion spacecraft around the moon. Right now, it's scheduled for no later than November of 2018. But since February, NASA conducted what's called a feasibility study to see how difficult, costly, and risky putting people on EM1 would be. The Marshall Space Flight Center is the SLS program's headquarters, so local engineers contributed to the study. NASA officially completed the study and delivered it to the White House last week. Acting Administrator Robert Lightfoot said they are now waiting on a, quote, go-forward plan from President Trump's administration. The results of the study are not publicly available, so we will have to wait until an official decision is made, and that could come as early as this week. For SpaceAlabama.com, I'm Josh Barrett.
From TechAlabama.com, new data brings some good news for any local tech job seekers. The Alabama Department of Labor said the number of Huntsville unemployed workers dropped about 10%. But the number of job ads remain the same. 9 out of the top 10 most in-demand jobs in Huntsville, no big surprise, are in technology fields. The companies advertising the most jobs: Northrop Grumman, SAIC, and Dynetics. They are cashing in on your retirement and your dreams of winning the lotto.
How one man nearly lost $500,000, and it turned out to be a nightmare. How you can avoid that money mule scam, that's coming up.
Protecting, informing, investing. WAAY 31 Hometown News.